If this is you sitting there in the dark, phone in your hand, scrolling past memories you swore you deleted, maybe it hits closer than you expected. That quiet knot in your chest. The one that tightens when you think about her laughing somewhere. Without you, you tell yourself you're fine, you even believe it some days. But then bam, out of nowhere, a song comes on, a smell hits you, a stupid little joke she used to laugh at, and suddenly you're 16 again, wishing you could rewind, hoping, just hoping she feels it too. You notice the little things, right? The way she left a cup on the counter, the way she said your name once, like she might be holding back. You think nobody sees you noticing, but you do, every damn time, and it stings. You ask yourself the questions you'll never say out loud. Did I screw it up? Could I have been more? Or less? Maybe she's already moved on. Maybe she's thinking about someone else while you're replaying every word, every fight, every quiet moment that mattered. And you try to hide it. Oh, you hide it well. Pretend you're not checking her socials. Pretend you're not remembering her laugh in the shower, in the car, in your head when you're supposed to be sleeping. Pretend. 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 But then there's that tiny flicker, that thought you catch yourself having. What if she regrets it? What if she realizes she let something real slip through her fingers? That's the part you keep in the shadows. The part that makes your chest tight, but your mind can't stop spinning. Maybe this isn't about her at all. Maybe it's about proving something to her, to yourself, to the version of you that sat there watching, hoping she'd see it coming too late. And here's the thing, you already know the rules, right? You've read the books, heard the advice, but rules aren't enough. Not really. Not if you want her to feel it. Not if you want her to realize what she lost before it's too late. So tell me, if you could make her regret losing you, really deeply regret it, would you? Or are you still sitting there pretending you don't care when you're screaming inside? Look, most guys get this all wrong. They think if she left, it's over. They think chasing, texting, explaining, they believe that proves something. And I get it. I believed it too, once. Sat on a couch late at night, replaying a fight that didn't even matter in the grand scheme, wondering why she didn't see it my way. Felt like the world was ending, like my value depended on her decision. Here's the truth. She leaving doesn't define you. Not your worth, not your future, not the measure of who you are. Most men miss that. They think regret comes from yelling, or chasing, or proving they're right. But it doesn't. Regret, it comes from absence, presence, and quiet strength. I remember a friend of mine. He lost a girl he thought was the one. First week, he called her every day, texts, voicemails, even emails that he could talk her back into him. I didn't say much. I just watched. 2 months later, he finally stopped. Stopped panicking, stopped justifying, stopped explaining. And then she came back, not because he begged, not because he changed overnight. She came back because he became someone she couldn't ignore, someone steady, grounded, untouchable by her whims. That's the kind of presence most guys never learn to hold. Rule number one of this: quiet authority matters more than noise. Being loud, being dramatic, being angry, those are temporary. They burn fast, then fade. But calm, solid, that sticks. People feel it even if they won't say it. And that's how regret is built. Slow, undeniable, like a tide you can't fight. Another thing most men misunderstand: timing. You think rushing back, proving yourself, showing her what she's lost, fast action equals control. Wrong. Patience is the silent weapon here. Patience paired with purpose. There's power in letting her feel the distance, letting her imagine the life without you. It's a tough lesson, and it will test you. You'll feel weak. You'll want to break the rule. But the moment you don't, that's when you gain leverage no words can create. Look at it like this, one of my mornings last year. Sitting on a porch, coffee in hand, watching a neighbor's dog chase its tail. Laughable, right? But it made me think, how many times have we chased people in circles, thinking if we just spin fast enough, we'll catch them again. And yet, here's the reality: the dog stops. The people stop. The ones who stay do so because you stood firm. You didn't wobble. You didn't overextend. That's what's remembered. That's what's missed. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about being grounded in your own life, living so full, so unapologetically present in your world that absence becomes the teacher. She notices, she feels it, and in that noticing, regret brews. So forget what you've been told. Stop thinking in texts, calls, explanations. Stop trying to be seen, liked, chased after. Build presence, build calm, build patience. Live life so fully she can't help but wonder, did I let this go? That's rule 0. Before the 10 rules even matter, your life, your energy, your presence, that's the magnet. Everything else follows naturally. And if you do it right, she'll notice. And when she does, that regret, it won't be forced. It'll be earned. He's sitting on the edge of his bed, the fan doing that slow, uneven spin, dragging the heat across his skin. The room smells like old coffee and yesterday's sweat. He's thinking about her, not the version she shows the world, but the one who laughed too loud at something stupid, who tucked her hair behind her ear in a way that made him want to memorize every line of her face. The phone buzzes. A text from a friend. Something meaningless. He stares at it. His thumb hovers over the screen. He doesn't type, he can't. It's like every time he moves toward action, the memory of her pulls him back. That last fight. That one line she said, the one that split him open and left him bleeding in quiet moments he pretends don't exist. Outside, a car backfires, he flinches. A laugh from a neighbor. It's ordinary, but it feels like it's echoing through him. He remembers a Saturday, 3 months ago. They were in a diner, rain tapping on the windows. She stole the last fry off his plate and smiled, that stupid crooked grin he thought he'd never forget. He smiles too, though it hurts. The thought hits, he's supposed to move on. Everyone says that, but moving on isn't a straight line. It's messy, angles, loops, detours. He finds himself replaying the small details. The way she tied her scarf, the smell of her shampoo in the morning, the quiet way she said, "I love you," when she didn't think anyone was listening. He closes his eyes. The mattress dips under him. He can almost feel her presence, like she's just behind the curtain, half remembered. He hates it, and maybe part of him doesn't. Part of him wants her to feel the absence, wants her to notice, finally, that he existed, really existed, and wasn't something to be taken lightly. A knock at the door. He freezes. Nobody's there, just the echo of the apartment. He laughs softly, nervous, bitter, and then he remembers the rule absence builds presence. Strength isn't in chasing, it's in stillness, in breathing while the world thinks you're crumbling, in letting her wonder. He stands, walks to the window. The city is alive and different. Lights flicker, horns honk. Somewhere, someone laughs. It's chaotic, and yet in the chaos, he feels a pulse of calm, his own heartbeat, his own energy. He breathes. The memory of her smile stays, but it no longer hurts. It sharpens him, shapes him, and then he asks himself quietly, in the dark, if she could see this version of him now, steady, unshaken, unapologetic, would she regret letting him go? The question hangs unanswered, but it burns, and maybe that's enough. Most guys think if she left, it means they failed. That belief sneaks in quietly. You wake up one morning, coffee in hand, and suddenly all your confidence feels borrowed. You think, I wasn't enough. But here's the thing, being enough isn't about perfection. It's about presence. And presence isn't flashy. It's steady. It's the way you show up in small moments, not the way you beg for attention. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. I remember a guy I knew. He spent weeks texting, calling, proving he mattered. Every "hey, you okay?" felt heavy. But what worked, what really shifted her perspective, was when he stopped trying to chase validation. He started living fully himself, without looking for her reaction. She noticed, slowly, quietly. That's the moment regret starts. Not when you beg, not when you explain, when you exist fully without apology. Another belief that more attention equals more love. Wrong. Attention is cheap. Respect is priceless. Think about it. How many times have you chased someone only to feel emptier? You give, and it never lands. You forget yourself in the process. The truth is, the moment you stop giving what isn't reciprocated, you gain value overnight. Not because she notices immediately. She notices later, when the gap makes her realize what she lost. And the third myth, that losing her is permanent. That somehow she has all the power. that your life pauses because she chose differently. It sneaks in while you scroll past old pictures, while you hear a laugh that used to mean something to both of you. You think, I lost her. But really, you lose nothing unless you abandon your own life. You don't lose her, you lose your own presence. That's the real failure and the real opportunity. I've seen it in myself, sitting in a bar, half listening to strangers, realizing I was trying to make someone else's absence define me. I caught it stopped. Focused on the work I loved, the friends I valued, the morning routine that kept me grounded. And slowly the regret built on the other side. Not forced, not obvious, but undeniable. Here's the wake up: your value isn't conditional. Your life isn't on pause. Your presence, your energy, that's your power. Stop trying to prove it. Stop trying to force recognition. It will come in its own time. And when it does, it's sharper than any apology could ever be. This is what he understands. Most men think power is loud. Power is chasing. Power is proving she made a mistake. They think if she left, the whole world collapsed. But he knows better. Power lives in quiet, in steadiness, in the pause before he reacts, in showing up for himself first, always without needing anyone else to validate it. He's not perfect, not at all. He forgets, slips texts when he shouldn't. He overthinks. He sits in the dark some nights replaying fights, the stupid words, the awkward silences. But he notices. That noticing is everything. Most men run, most men panic. He doesn't. He breathes. And in that breathing, he finds a rhythm that's impossible to fake. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. The other day, he was at a cafe, rain streaking the windows, coffee steaming between his hands. Someone cut him off in traffic earlier. First instinct, anger. He almost honked, almost yelled. But he didn't. He watched the car disappear. He felt the blood in his veins, the tension in his chest. Then he exhaled. Not because it was polite, not because it was correct, because he knows the chaos outside doesn't dictate his inner state. That calm, that's what sticks. That's what resonates. People notice it, even her. He understands absence differently. Most men think silence is weakness. They panic if she doesn't answer, if she doesn't respond. They fill voids with noise, explanations, justification. He doesn't. He lets her feel the space. The absence becomes his message. Slow, quiet, undeniable. It's not manipulation. It's presence. Presence that exists without begging for acknowledgement. Presence that grows while the world around him spins. This is what he understands about timing. Patience isn't passive. It's active. It's choosing when to act and when to step back. Most men rush. They think waiting is losing. He knows otherwise. He moves deliberately. Pauses, observes, listens to his own thoughts instead of panicking at every impulse. He lets reality unfold around him, and then he responds from clarity, not desperation. One evening, walking home, shoes wet, coat heavy with rain, he felt the old pull, the urge to call, to explain, to justify. His chest tightened, mind raced, and then he stopped mid-step, breathing, feeling, watching the city lights reflect off the puddles. He let the urge pass. Hurt, yes. Pain, yes, but no panic. That choice, pain over panic, awareness over noise, is what separates him from the 99% of men who never learn to hold their own ground. This is what he knows about self-value. It isn't in her attention, her messages, her reactions, not in her apologies or her regrets. Real value, it's in how he inhabits his own life. His mornings, nights, streets, cafes, friends, work, sweat, laughter, music, silence. He owns it all. He cultivates a life so fully lived that absence becomes a mirror. And when she notices it, the regret she feels can't be forced. It can't be manufactured. It's earned, slow, undeniable. This is how he practices emotional clarity. He allows himself to feel, not just the wins, but the losses, the sting, the ache of someone leaving. He sits with it, lets it pass through him, instead of trying to smother it, hide it, or run from it. He remembers himself in those moments, who he is, what he values, what he refuses to trade. Other men panic. He steadies. He's messy human. He spills coffee, forgets keys, misses the occasional call. He's distracted, sometimes lonely. But his center, that's untouchable. That's where strength grows. Strength that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to chase, doesn't need to explain. It simply is. He understands desire differently too. Most men try to force attraction, to manufacture interest. They overcomplicate. He doesn't. He knows attraction comes from integrity, from fullness, from being entirely present in his own skin, from living life as if her presence is a bonus, not a requirement. And that pulls. That's magnetic. That's the quiet engine of regret, of notice, of longing. One night he remembered a Saturday in the park. Sun slanted through the trees. Kids laughing, dogs barking, an old man tossing bread to pigeons. He thought about her, her laugh, her insistence on finishing his sentences, the way she tilted her head when she disagreed. And for a moment, he wanted to text. Then he remembered presence over pressure. He let the moment pass, lived it himself, walked on. He didn't need her acknowledgement. He only needed himself. This is what he understands about energy. You can waste it chasing, proving, explaining, or you can use it building yourself. The difference is stark. She may notice now, or in a week, or a month. But the regret isn't instantaneous. It's slow, like tide water climbing sand. Unavoidable if you've anchored yourself firmly. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure, in every glance, every heartbeat, every breath. He doesn't overthink texts, calls, reactions. He shows up in life. Full, messy, human, grounded. He prioritizes his craft, his friends, his mornings, his nights, the streets he walks, the work he creates, the sweat and laughter and music and silence. He's building something that can't be stolen, that can't be diminished by absence, by rejection, by missteps. That's his power. That's his magnet. That's the regret no words could ever manufacture. And he's aware of the pull to collapse into old patterns, to chase, to beg, to overexplain. He resists. Pain hits. It's sharp. But strength is sharper. He lets the silence linger, lets her feel it, lets life move forward around him while he remains rooted. That's what most men never learn. They panic. They wobble. He steadies, and in that steadiness, regret builds. Slow, quiet, absolute. This is what he knows. The moment you stop fracturing yourself for someone else, you become impossible to ignore. The quiet, grounded energy, the steady presence, the refusal to break, the choice to breathe. This is the 1% headman. Not loud, not flashy, not desperate, just alive, just steady, just fully himself. And that is why regret finds its way back eventually. He walks through his nights like this, messy, distracted, alive, human. Coffee cooling, music in his ears, rain tapping the window. He makes mistakes, feels the ache, remembers himself. Chooses patience over panic, strength over noise, presence over chase. And in that he becomes untouchable, irresistible, and unforgettable. He's in the kitchen, half lit by the streetlight spilling through the window. Coffee cools in the mug he forgot to stir. The hum of the fridge, distant traffic, everything feels ordinary, yet loud in his chest. A memory hits, her laugh in the rain, the way she leaned on his shoulder at that concert, careless, free. And suddenly, the old ache wanting her back, needing her to see him, starts to rise. But then, he catches it, that pull, that panic, and he stops, breathing, chest rising, falling, the weight in his hands, the ache in his ribs. It's not for her, not anymore. He whispers it to the empty room. I'm enough. Flash him laughing with his friends, sun on his face, music in his ears. Flash him running through streets at night, alive in his own rhythm, and it snaps. He straightens, pulls the mug closer, takes a sip. Bitter, warm, grounding, no explanations, no chasing, no apology, just him fully present, fully alive. And in that moment, regret shifts, not for him, but for her. The city hums outside, rain taps the window. He sits back, chest tight, heart steady. Every memory of her, every ache, every fight, it's still there. Sharp, raw. But he doesn't reach for the phone. He doesn't justify, explain, chase. He breathes, feels the weight of himself. Feels the absence she created, but also the presence he reclaimed. A laugh bubbles up, bitter, sweet, real. And then he knows she'll remember, not the words he said, not the things he begged for. She'll remember the man who refused to break for her. And that is regret she can't outrun.